PNR Networks is a member of Patreon. Show your love for our shows by joining our ongoing fundraising campaign and get some fantastic perks in return. Check it out and become a Patreon sponsor. You can sign up at patreon.com, patreon.com/PNR Networks. And thanks for your support.
She just goes a little mad sometimes.
Do you ever feel like you're normal and the rest of the world has lost its collective mind?
Put your helmet on. We'll be reaching speeds of 3.
Do you find people saying this to you a lot?
Are you totally deranged?
Are you looking for a looking glass to pass through?
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Or looking for a rabbit hole to fall down?
Who could think of a better punishment, really? Everything's the same here, it's just a little worse.
Guess what?
Life's a bitch. Now so am I.
You've found it. Welcome to Platinum Rose's Garden.
Well, hello, my darlings. This is Platinum Rose Lady welcoming you to Platinum Rose's Garden on Sunday, the 11th of February, 2018. Oh, gosh. You guys, I'm so sorry that I've been away for the last couple of weeks. We had rotating sicknesses in our house. I got sick, my husband got sick, then I got sick again. So it was like this back and forth, coughing, aching, hurting thing, but everything seems to be all right now, so that's good. I hope everybody had a great week. Obviously, the thing we need to talk about real quick before we get to my triple header review for the week is we have to talk about what happened last week. Yes, the Super Bowl was last week, and the New England Patriots did not win. So, it has been a life motto of mine that you are as gracious in defeat as you are gracious in victory. So, congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles for winning the Super Bowl in 2018. There. That's done. You guys want to celebrate by burning your city down? That's all on you. I'm not touching that. But like I said, I've been so late and so remiss in getting in touch with you guys. So here is your Supernatural episode recap for the past 3 episodes. Hold on, guys.
Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more.
Season 13, Episode 11 of Supernatural, Breakdown. Then is dealing with Donna Hanscom and all she's had to deal with since becoming, supernaturally aware and all the other stuff that happened since meeting the Winchesters. And also deals with Officer Doug Stover, a fellow police officer who seems to be kind of sweet on Donna. And she reciprocates in a friendly way. They obviously, like each other quite a bit. We're also shown vampires and the vampire cure, which Sam was introduced to in season 6 when Dean was bitten and turned. And we are now at Now. And Now is some kind of building that's full of a lot of really scary looking shit. It looks like, something out of Saw with, body parts in jars and blood everywhere and bloody instruments. And you're basically a different version of a chop shop where the parts are, still attached to people and there's blood and screaming and it's very much ew. We cut to and we see a wall. Besides the chop shop itself, we see a wall of missing persons clippings from newspapers and such. We cut to a truck stop in Nebraska, small diner, and a young woman gets out of her car, tries to buy some gas, but her credit card is rejected. She goes inside, and there are people in the place. Look a little creepy, but no, it's a very odd vibe in this place. We find out that the young woman's her last name is Hanscom, which we find out when she's trying to get the guy behind the counter to take her card. And she winds up, getting gas, and as she's driving, when she goes out to get in her car, this kind of creepy guy walks up and offers to clean her windows, and she gets a little freaked out because she is a young woman driving alone, and this guy looks like, a really scary person, and she leaves. She winds up on the side, stuck on the side of the road with a flat tire from something that looks like it was placed in the road to cause a flat tire, and her attempt to flag down a passing trucker fails. Unfortunately, she winds up being attacked by this big dude, leather apron, whole, sex torture look thing happening, and she's dragged off screaming into the night. And we get the opening credits, and we come back, and we are at the bunker, the Batcave in Lebanon, Kansas. We see Sam lying in bed. Now, normally I would be happy about that, but it's not Sam sleeping or resting or anything. You can just tell he's in bed because he doesn't want to get up. And the look on his face is very, withdrawn and worried and sad. And we see the clock going on and on, the hours ticking by, and he's still in bed. In between Dean calling for him to come to breakfast because Dean's making pancakes. And Sam winds up getting a call from Sheriff Donna Hanscom. It turns out the missing girl that we saw at the beginning of the episode, that is her niece Wendy. She tells them she tells Sam and Dean that she's missing. The police don't know what happened, but they obviously think she was kidnapped. And Donna meets up with the brothers when they show up in their Fed suits, which is always a very good thing as far as I'm concerned, as the police are checking out Wendy's car. The car which was found by a state trooper. Wendy, as it turns out, was taking what's called a gap year off, the whole kind of go out and discover yourself and try and find yourself kind of deal. Donna feels incredibly guilty because she told Wendy how much fun a gap year was, and now she's gone missing, and Donna feels like it's her fault. Dean, while he's checking out the car, has a run-in with an asshole of a cop who turns out to be an actual FBI agent, a real FBI agent. His name is Agent Terrence Clegg. After a little bit of, my cock is bigger than your cock, not literally, but you know what I mean, kind of thing that happens when you have two men in the room that think that they're the alpha male. Dean runs into another person that he actually knows, Officer Doug, and winds up telling Doug that he and Sam are related to Donna, just to get Doug off his back. It turns out that this Agent Clegg is actually looking for someone specific as the person that's kidnapped Wendy. There's this person that is referred to as the Butterfly. They call him that because of the fact that he seems to go one way part of the year and another way another part of the year, like the migratory patterns of a butterfly. This guy's been causing disappearances for quite a while, and he's obviously someone that Agent Clegg is very desperate to catch. Sam's not really, Sam's kind of the opinion this isn't their kind of case. And it's not, that maybe they should back off because the real FBI is involved. Dean, on the other hand, is like, it's Donna, we're helping. And I can see both of their arguments, to be honest with you, because right now it doesn't look like it's a supernatural issue. But Dean gets on a CB radio, something else Sam scoffs at, trying to find out information from truckers. Dean's attitude is that Dad uses the CB radio to get information, and if it works, it works. As it turns out, it does work. As Dean's on the CB, he gets a a CB call from someone that says they want to meet with him. And Dean isn't taking Sam's attitude like, I mean, he's basically telling Sam what the fuck is your issue, even though he knows what Sam's issue is. It's the fact that, you know, Jack and Mary are still stuck in this apocalypse universe, and, you know, they're worried to death about them. We see Wendy, who is tied to a chair and blindfolded. Her captor, the big scary dude in the leather apron and the sex killer mask, takes off the blindfold and kind of mocks her psychologically, mocking her crying and all that stuff like that. Kind of signals for her to smile as he turns on a video camera. And I'm like, where the fuck are we going with this? We see Sam with Donna, they've gotten a dossier on Butterfly, and we see that Agent Clegg has brought in a suspect, someone that he's been looking at for a long time as possibly being the Butterfly, a gentleman that calls himself a pastor, named Pastor Diamond Don Hankey. And he is a real pastor, apparently, but he's really not a very nice person. He also had Wendy's bloody shirt in his car. We see Dean talking with the trucker. It turns out that the trucker is a young woman, and she was the young woman that we saw driving the truck that went by Wendy. She didn't, and, you know, she does feel badly that she didn't stop. Sam and Agent Clegg interrogate Pastor Hankey, and it's not going very well. For one thing, as they're talking about missing people, including Wendy and another gentleman, a Latin American man, the pastor makes a couple of remarks that are really friggin' racist, and lawyers up. And it's not really, you know, it's not going well at all. Donna wants to come in, and she wants to talk to the preacher. We see Dean at the diner, and he meets up with Officer Doug. Doug's got information on the diner. There's been a couple of things that have happened there, you know, illegal stuff, but nothing that would indicate, you know, this is a place where monsters hang out or anything like that. So they're kind of stuck. Doug does ask Dean if Donna's okay. He says that, you know, he and Donna used to talk all the time about all kinds of things, TV and sports and stuff, but that lately she seems to have kind of shut down. Dean says that Donna's okay and that Doug should trust her. Donna's interview with the good pastor goes a little better in the fact that she's able to get under his skin and really get him going to the point where he starts crying and, you know, swears up and down he had nothing to do with whatever happened to Wendy. You know, he hasn't touched her. He doesn't have her. It's, you know, nothing like that. We see Dean talking with the scary windshield wiper dude that tried to clean Wendy's windows, and he's actually, I mean, for a little money, he's pretty, you know, helpful. He says that the clerk, Marlon, liked Wendy, and after Wendy left, he closed down the diner so he could go follow her. Donna's interview, like I said, leads to more information and tears and, you know, complete denial. As the pastor does seem really shocked that Wendy's bloody clothes were in his vehicle, which he swears up and down they shouldn't have been there, that he's never hurt anybody, even though he's done some things that are very unpastory. Unpastory? Is that a word? Well, screw it, I'm using it. The pastor, like I said, breaks down in tears and is constantly denying that he hurt Wendy or even saw Wendy after she left the diner. And both Donna and Sam think he's telling the truth. And they think that somebody's framed him. Dean goes inside the diner and interrogates Marlon his way. Head meets desk. Boom. Numerous times. To which Doug is kind of like, what? And, you know, Dean's whole thing is that's the way we do it in the FBI. You know, You tell him otherwise. It turns out that Marlon shows Dean and Doug a website. It's a live online auction of body parts. And they're cut, right there. People bid on the person's body parts, and when enough money is, when the bid has been reached, the person's body parts are removed live on camera, as we see happening to the poor guy who is tied up, and the victim, who is the Latin American man that we saw in the missing picture from earlier on. At the truck stop, we see Sam and Donna have joined up with Dean and Doug. Basically, what we're looking at is a takeout service for monsters. They put in a bid, and then if they're the ones that win the bid, they're the ones that get to eat whatever body part gets cut out of the prisoner. And it's really, really gross. Marlon said that the people that he gets people for this service, people that nobody would miss. And when a video of Wendy pops up, that's when things are very obviously getting very serious. Sam winds up calling in Agent Clegg, while Donna tells Doug the truth about the life, monsters and all of that stuff that you really don't want to have to tell regular people. But so we see Clegg, like I said, Sam calls Agent Clegg. The agent gets a trace and shows up when, besides, that shows up, that they'll find, gets them, sorry, getting tongue-tied. Gets a trace on the feed on the computer. This is technical shit, so it's really beyond me. And they find out the service and, ping it off, all the stuff that you ping and all that stuff off to find out where this signal is being broadcast from. And now it's a race against time to save Wendy, because there's a clock up saying how many minutes till the next auction. We see Sam outside of the building that they've traced the signal to, and finds that Agent Clegg is there, which Sam's kind of like, well, why are you here? And Agent Clegg's basically I'm doing my job, kind of deal. And we see the kidnapper doing some more stuff to Wendy, just not physical stuff, but making her cry, making her scared, just really laying it on thick and trying to break her psyche. Dean and Donna are inside the building, and they're following the music, because all during the episode, this person, this carver, however you want to put it, has been playing really chirpy 50s happy housewife kind of music. It's so disturbing. Dean and Donna follow the noise, follow the music, but when they get to the room where the music's coming from, there's a radio playing the music, and there's nothing there in the room. As it turns out, they've left Doug to keep an eye on Marlon, who is chained up to some bars. As it turns out, Marlon is a vampire, and he breaks the chains pretty damn easily, jumps on Doug, and winds up turning him. Sam and Agent Clegg hear the commotion, and before they can go running in to see what's going on, all of a sudden Clegg smashes Sam in the back of his head with his gun and knocks him out. So Agent Clegg is off my Christmas list. Dean and Donna come running, no Sam or Agent Clegg, and they find Doug, who's lying on the ground dazed and who is now has turned into a vampire. Doug keeps saying how hungry he is all of a sudden, and how the fangs are showing and the whole thing, and winds up attacking Donna, but he gets knocked out thanks to Dean, who has a syringe full of dead man's blood, which knocks out vampires in the supernatural universe. Dean tells Donna that there is a vampire cure, but one of the ingredients in the cure is the blood of the vamp that turned him, which is convenient because Marlon hasn't left, because Marlon's kind of stupid. Marlon stands there and gloats at Sam and Dean and Donna, and then makes the colossally, oh, fuck, you really did that, mistake of telling Dean that Agent Clegg has Sam. And you can see the look on Dean's face go from, I'm thinking about killing you, to I'm definitely going to kill you. But before he and Marlon can start fighting machete to vampire, with Dean giving a line, bring it, Twilight. Before anything happens, Donna shoots Marlon in the leg. In the kneecap from the look of it. I friggin' love Donna. I just love Donna. Sam wakes up. He's strapped to a chair, but not like a chair like Wendy was. It's more like almost kind of like a dentist chair, strapped like around his chest and such. And Sam is the next person that is going to be up for auction. As it turns out, Agent Clegg is the butterfly. And he asks Sam, like, how many monsters do you think there are? And Sam's answer, he just kind of shrugs it off and tells him, there's more monsters out there than you could ever know. It's just the ones that you know are the ones that are sloppy. That there are thousands of monsters out there. And the ones that kill people and get caught and get killed by hunters like the Winchesters are the ones that get sloppy. That monsters live next door to a lot of people, and they're just they can pass for human, but they still need to eat. I mean, this guy's and his whole thing is that he's doing a good thing because he's kidnapping people for monsters to eat, but they're people that normally wouldn't be missed. So that makes it okay, I guess, in this guy's fucking twisted, rat's nest of a brain, I guess. Clegg puts on a mask. It's like a pig half mask to get the auction started. We see the Impala driving, and Dean's driving, and Donna's giving Doug the cure to cure him of being a vamp. Sam's heart is now up for bids, and the bids are going pretty high. Donna and Dean find the building where Sam is being kept. Donna finds Wendy chained up in a room with her arms, chained above her head. And she's attacked by the kidnapper, the butcher, who Donna winds up killing her. And Donna frees Wendy from the chains that she's in. And Sam's heart goes for $500,000, which is quite a lot of money, as we see all these various monsters. They know they're not just bidding on a heart, they're bidding on Sam Winchester's heart. So, Clegg mocks Sam a little bit, tells him his brother's not going to come and rescue him, and normally they would stretch out the carving and such, but he knows Dean's looking for Sam, so he's going to do it quickly. He takes a gun out, holds it to Sam's head, tells Sam to say goodbye, and Sam kind of turns his head a little bit and shuts his eyes, and there's a bang of a gun, and we don't see what happens, and we see blood spreading out on Clegg's outfit, and he falls to the ground dead. And Sam looks, and there's Dean, who looks at his brother and is like, game over. Looks at his brother and says, show's over. And we get a commercial break. We cut to a motel where Doug wakes up, no longer a vampire, and he's confused. I mean, I don't blame him. As it turns out, Wendy is in a hospital, and she's gonna be all right. Dean, in a move that I was like, wow. Dean asks Doug if he wants in, if he wants to, now that he knows what's going on out there for real, does he want to be a hunter with them, with Donna? And Doug's answer is no. He can't deal with it. He can't. Although he does tell Donna that he loves her and that she's a hero, but in the end of it, he says that he can't do it, that he's not a hero, and he leaves. Donna goes to go after him, but Sam stops her from going, telling her that Doug Doug would be safer if they weren't together. Driving back to the Batcave, Dean remarks to Sam that he was a little bit rough on Donna. Sam argues that what he did was told her the truth, and that they get people killed. When Dean responds, they save people, Sam's answer is, we also get people killed. Dean's trying to reach out to his brother, saying that he knows his brother's somewhere bad, someplace dark. But Sam's like that. He tells him, it's not that. It's our lives. And I tried to pretend I didn't have to be. And I tried to pretend it didn't have to be. I tried to pretend that we could have Mom back and Cass and help Jack. But we can't. This ends one way for us, Dean. It ends bloody. It ends bad. And Sam turns and looks out the window, and the episode ends. And something happened that hasn't happened for a little bit. I cried. I cried at the end of that episode. I mean, I just started bawling. Oh, Sam. It was on I know it was, it was because he was in pain, and that sucks so bad. You do get emotionally invested in these characters, and they're fictional characters, and it's not real. Damn it, I wound up crying in a bathroom for an hour after The Last Jedi. So I'm a very emotional person, and I get attached and fucking deal. I thought this was a great episode. I give Breakdown 4.5 bouquets out of 5. I love, absolutely love, cannot get enough of, simply adore Brianna Buckmaster as Donna Hanscom. Donna is, I love Donna. I love Donna. She's just, I want to hang out with Donna. I really do. I would totally hang out with Donna in a second. Although she'd probably think I swear too much. And I want to give major props to Brendan Taylor for playing Officer Doug Stover. He's played Officer Doug before. I wish Doug had been able to, pick up the flag and carry the banner like everybody else, but if you can't, you can't. You can't force someone to be a hero, that sounds kind of, but it is what it is. And he played that with warmth and humor where it was needed, and pathos where it was needed, and that was really beautiful. Which brings us to Season 13, Episode 12, Various and Sundry Villains. Various and Sundry Villains then begins with a powerful book of magic, the Black Grimoire. I hope I'm saying that even close to correctly. Also in the then segment, we had Rowena, the witch that was, quite a problem for Sam and Dean. Helped them when she wanted to, didn't help them when she didn't want to, tried to kill Cass a couple of times, and, oh, by the way, was the mother of Crowley. Rowena, who apparently met her end at the hands of Lucifer, who said he stomped her head in and set her body on fire. We see Lucifer in the other universe, where his power has been drained. It's not completely gone, but it's much lower. And Asmodeus capturing Lucifer and Castiel and having them in separate cells. And now we are at Now. And Now is in a liquor store in Kansas where two attractive young women wind up casting a love spell on an unsuspecting guy by the name of Dwayne, I think was his name. Dale. Dale. They slip a hex bag. One slips him a hex bag. The other girl casts the spell, and he's completely besotted with one of the girls, the girl named Jamie. Jamie has a sister named Jenny, and they, through the love spell, they get Dale to rob the store and kill the owner of the store. Because they need money because they're out of gas and they're on their way to Lebanon, Kansas. Uh-oh. After the guy does what they want him to do, he brings them the money and they wind up killing him. Julie murders him. Jamie murders him with a sledgehammer. Very Triple H. Somebody's obviously a WWE fan. And we get the opening credits, and we are back at the Batcave with Dean, who's come in with a whole bunch of books that Sam obviously sent him out to get, with him reading off all the titles, and except for the last one, which he can't pronounce, but Sam can, because it's in French, and it's the Book of Day and Night or something like that, and Sam speaking in French is... Oh, God. Sam speaking in French, one sentence, and I'm like, okay, we need to pause. We need to pause because we need to pause for the cause because we need to take care of some stuff. And I'm not. If you can't figure out what that is, that's not. You really shouldn't be listening to this show. Sam and Dean discuss Castiel, who they keep hearing from, although they don't know it's Castiel, that it's really Asmodeus, who apparently can shapeshift and, sound like other people if he chooses to. Castiel, who's actually in a cell, prisoner next to Lucifer in a abandoned, I believe it's a mental hospital. It was a mental hospital at one point in Fall River, Massachusetts. As it turns out, the wards that are on Lucifer's cell, I don't know about Castiel's cell, are the bars are specially warded to cause him a lot of pain, him being Lucifer, if he touches them, which is found out when a demon who's called Dipper manages to go piss Lucifer off by mocking him constantly and basically being a pain in the ass. We see Castiel doing a really great job of needling Lucifer, just telling him all kinds of stuff and basically being pretty damn sassy. Dean, who's been out on a beer run, hears a woman cry for help, runs to see what all the commotion is about, sees an unconscious woman on the ground and another woman with her who's hysterically saying, "Help her, help her." When Dean bends down to see if he can give the woman CPR or whatever, the younger sister, Jenny, slips a hex bag into her sister's, let me start again. When Dean bends down to help the unconscious, quote, quote, woman, he's hit with a love spell and winds up hopelessly in love with Jenny. He's completely under her spell. Dean comes back to the bunker, completely in the best mood he's been in years, probably, which instantly has Sam's antenna up. And as he's telling Sam he's in love and he's met this wonderful girl, and as he's talking, he's walking over to where they have the black grimoire, put away, and he's telling Sam it's a gift for Jamie. And, Sam's like, what the fuck? And he's trying to get his brother to understand, dude, I think you're under a spell. And Dean actually uses the word Twitter-pated, which I don't think I've heard since Bambi, the Disney movie, not like some adult-rated thing or something. I don't watch those kind of films. I'm not that kind of girl. Dean, like I said, he's going to give the black grimoire to Jenny as a present because he loves her and is talking about her moving in and this, that, and the other thing. Sam takes the keys to the Impala and Dean's like, okay, I'll walk. When Sam still tries to stop him, Dean punches him hard enough with one shot to knock Sam out and leaves. Dean comes walking back to the sisters with the grimoire. The younger sister is disappointed because she wanted him to bring the car because she wanted to steal the Impala, apparently. After Dean hands over the book, Jamie goes to kill him with the hammer, but Sam pulls up in the Impala, gets out with his gun drawn, and is promptly tackled by Dean, who's furious that Sam would attack his one true love and all that. The sisters wind up escaping as Sam keeps trying to fight Dean off while he's trying to fight his brother off while he's obviously not, he's trying not to hurt Dean, but, Dean is not being gentle. This is not a tickle fight. This is a real, it doesn't have the same amount of venom in it like, a fight, like the fight at the end of Lucifer Rising or anything like that. But it's, it's still, I'm sorry, not Lucifer Rising, when the levee breaks. But it's still, it's a pretty tough fight on Dean's part, at least, especially when they're both on the ground and Dean has a chokehold on Sam. Sam's literally tapping out. He's hitting Dean's arm in the move that martial artists and, UFC fighters use, saying, "That's enough, I quit." Sam manages to get the hex bag out of Dean's pocket and toss it away, but the problem is that Dean's still under the spell when all of a sudden there's this flash of light, purple light, and the hex bag bursts into flames, which instantly frees Dean from the spell, although it does take him a few minutes, a few seconds to be like, what happened? And Sam and Dean look up at their rescuer, and it's Rowena, looking very much alive. Back at the place where they're being held, Lucifer is still, his power is extremely low still, because it was taken by Michael in the alternate universe. Dipper tells Castiel that Asmodeus has big plans for him, whatever that means. Lucifer doesn't think that the other Michael is going to be, it's not going to take much longer for him to get here. And Castiel winds up, after Lucifer makes some remarks about, that, Michael was torturing, that other Michael was torturing Mary and it was awful and all this other stuff like that, pretty much to get under Cass's skin. Cass figures out two can play that game, because he winds up telling Lucifer about Jack and the kind of person Jack is, and that Jack is nothing like his father. Interesting side note, there's a line where Castiel says he looks nothing like you. Misha Collins posted that when they did the filming of this, he had actually said, in fact, he said something to the effect of, in fact, he looks like me. Which they didn't use, which I'm very disappointed because that would have been great. And he keeps telling Lucifer all these things about the person that Jack is, who is a good, decent, kind, sweet kid. And Lucifer is getting pissed off to the point where it's actually bringing back some of his power. We cut back to the Batcave where Rowena is getting drinks for herself and the Winchesters at the Batcave. And she explains how she's still alive, that she keeps coming back because of these, she's cast this resurrection spell on herself, and, it took her a long time to recover from what Lucifer did to her, but she eventually did. And she wants the Black Grimoire because what she wants to do is take the chains off of her. They're not actual chains. The spiritual chains, the magical chains that the Grand Coven put on her probably centuries ago to bind some of her power. Probably because they were afraid of what she'd do if they didn't. She does tell the Winchesters that she did place a tracking spell on the grimoire when it was in her custody before, and if they help her, she'll help them, which they're not really buying. But Sam and Dean have a bigger problem when she asks where Crowley is. We see the sisters reading the book as they're walking through a store where they have a snippy conversation with the female clerk. It turns out the ritual, apparently some ritual that they really are looking, they got the book because they need it for a specific ritual that they can't quite figure out how to do. But they need a soul for it. And they obviously have the idea of expelling a male clerk in the store to get his soul. The Impala we see the Impala driving into Stillwater, Oklahoma, which, according to Rowena, is where the grimoire is. Rowena tells Dean, who's going to go question the locals while Sam stays behind with Rowena. Rowena makes a suggestion to Dean that he should start questioning the women because these women don't seem to like the type that would have a lot of female friends. Lucifer and Castiel wind up escaping the cells that they were in thanks to Lucifer goading Dipper enough to get close enough and kill him and get out of the cells. And they wind up facing down a group of demons that have shown up when, they heard the escape going on. Sam and Rowena talk, and I mean really talk, about some of the stuff that they've been through. They've both been through, and how they have to deal with what they've been through. Specifically, the fact that both of them have been so badly used by Lucifer, and that one thing that they both have in common is the fact that Rowena tells Sam that Lucifer, before he killed her, he showed her his face. His real face. And she tells him that she's scared, that she is scared all the time. And Sam tells her that he's seen Lucifer's face too. That what he looks like behind all of the vessels that he's worn, that Sam's seen it. And if Sam says he's seen it, it was probably during when Sam was trapped in the cage. And when Rowena asks how he deals with it, Sam tells her that he doesn't deal with it. He just tries to push it down and tries to deal with what's going on around him. All the times that they've had to literally save the damn world, and he just kept pushing it down. He doesn't talk about the way he feels and what he felt, not even to Dean. He tells Rowena that he could talk about that with Dean, that Dean would listen, but he says, that's not something I really know how to share. And that crash sound, that was my heart falling out of my chest and falling to the floor and shattering into about 70 kabillion pieces. My poor, poor Sam. And I also felt pretty bad for Rowena. I really did. I actually felt bad for Rowena earlier in the episode when she was pretty pissed at finding out Crowley was dead, which I was kind of surprised she felt that way, but Crowley was still her son. Dean questions the lady behind the counter at the store, winds up finding out the sister's last name, the Plums, and finds out their address as well. And as he's leaving, she winds up taking a look at Dean from the back. Let's face it, with Dean, Dean's got a great front, but his back is nice too. We hate to see you go, honey, but we love to watch you leave. Sam tells Rowena, even with the book, and even if she gets this power back that she wants, she's still going to be scared. She's still going to have those feelings of helplessness. That's not going to go away. Rowena says she needs some air and gets out of the car. Just as Dean's walking back, and Dean's really like, why'd you let her out of the car? Rowena sees the address on the piece of paper Dean has, and she says, fine, and turns around like she's going to leave. When the Winchesters go to follow her, she drops a hex bag, says a very brief incantation, And all of a sudden, Sam and Dean are both stuck. They can't move from where they are. And she just keeps on walking as they're yelling to her to come back and all this stuff with that, as they're trying to move their feet. Sam's kind of kneeling down and trying to push off the Impala. Dean's trying to jump when it seems like his feet are super glued to the ground. And I'm sorry, I'm laughing at this. I'm a terrible human being. I am a really terrible person. Rowena gets to the Plum house, and it turns out that Rowena is the one that actually hired the girls, because we found out earlier on what the girls' whole deal was about. The fact that they needed the grimoire was to resurrect their dead mom. I'm sorry if I don't think I mentioned that earlier. I'm sorry if I jumped off of that, which is what they needed the store clerk for, which he winds up getting stabbed for his pains. So Rowena is the one that hired these two in the first place to get the grimoire, but the issue was they were supposed to get the grimoire from the Winchesters and then give it to Rowena. But the Plums decided to go into business on their own. They've decided, that screw Rowena, we'll just do it ourselves. Even though Rowena had a deal with them. The deal was that she would, they get the grimoire, they give it to her, she'll do the spell to bring their mother back because she doesn't think that they're ready yet magic-wise, which both Plums take offense to. As it turns out, they've already done the spell, kind of. They've brought their mom back. Good news. Bad news is they didn't bring her back right. Yeah, mom's a zombie who is going to attack Rowena, which the Plums are perfectly fine with. And Rowena gets away and, barricades herself in the kitchen. Sam, with his long arms and long legs, is able to reach the hex bag finally, and Dean sets it on fire, and they're free. We cut to outside of the sanitarium after Castiel and Lucifer have obviously fought their way through a bunch of demons. Lucifer tries to talk Castiel into giving him some of his grace when Castiel is pretty much like, no. Lucifer stabs at him, and Castiel stabs as well. He's obviously learned from his mistakes of the past. The Winchesters get in the house, armed with guns, armed with witch-killing bullets, as Rowena is beset upon by Mom Zombie, and a very physical fight occurs between the Winchesters and the Plum sisters. It's, for a male versus female fight, it's very violent. I mean, not like, oh my gosh, think of the children kind of violent, but I was like, damn. Rowena winds up shooting Zombie Mom in the head and, manages to stand up, and because she's Rowena, she can stop the girls in their tracks and winds up casting the attack dog spell on both of them. Sam and Dean are like, oh fuck, because they think that she's going to command the girls to attack them. Instead, she tells the girls, end this. And the sisters turn on each other and stab and bludgeon each other to death. As Sam and Dean kind of look on in shock at the carnage, and then look at Rowena, who just kind of looks at them and smirks a little bit in triumph. Sam, and we get a commercial, Sam, Dean, and Rowena are preparing to leave, but Rowena has the grimoire, and Sam goes to take it from her. The way Sam's standing, I'm like, something's going on. Because the way he was standing, it was kind of blocking Rowena's body and the grimoire from Dean. Even though Rowena begs, Sam takes the book from her, and Rowena leaves. Back at the Batcave, when Dean opens up the book, he's really not surprised that Sam let Rowena take a page. He's a little irritated, but Sam's not apologizing for it. He actually tells Dean how he feels. That Rowena's not the only one that feels helpless. And Sam's really honest about how he feels. Like, you know, they had this whole plan, get Jack and get Mom back and all this stuff, but it's not working, and now everything's all fucked up, and all Sam has is the helplessness and the scared feeling inside that won't go away no matter what, you know, and he doesn't know what to do. Dean's response to that is, we'll figure it out. Sam replies, Dean, we don't have a plan. We don't know what to do. So how? Dean's answer is, I don't know, but we will. You and me. Sam kind of shakes his head and says he's going to bed, wishes Dean goodnight, and leaves. And Dean's left sitting there with a wrapped up leg, you know, just kind of drinking his beer. We cut to Rowena, who is at wherever hideout she's at, where she casts the spell from the book. And we see the chains that have been binding her magic break off and snap and disappear. And Rowena's eyes turn this amazing blue color, and she smiles, and the episode ends. According to the people that were actually there and, you know, did what they were doing, Rowena's eyes were not supposed to be glowing blue. They were supposed to be glowing purple. The head of Supernatural Special Effects Department, a gentleman named Mark Maloch, said, has confirmed, it was supposed to be purple, but a lot of people saw blue. I can tell you I saw blue. I thought this was a really good episode. I was glad the Love Struck thing didn't last the whole episode. I was like, I hope this isn't going to be a whole episode thing. And it wasn't, and that was good. I give Various and Sundry Villains 4.5 bouquets out of 5. And that brings us to this week's episode. Season 13, Episode 13, Devil's Bargain. The Then is dealing with the other, the other world, the world where the Winchesters weren't born, and Earth is, a complete mess because angels and demons have torn it apart with their wars. And the other Michael is a complete psycho who plans on invading our Earth. We see Lucifer escaping back to our Earth. Asmodeus, who has taken over hell. And Lucifer and Castiel escaping from the prison they were in. And Sam at a loss, and Dean determined that they're going to fix what's gone wrong. And we're at now. And we see Castiel stumbling through the woods, bloody, and dealing with what he went through in the fight with Lucifer, and he falls to the ground unconscious. 2 kids find him thinking he is dead and poke at his body, which wakes Dean up and sends them running. He goes back to the place where he and Lucifer fought. No sign of Lucifer. We see a meet-cute situation in Missouri where a man and woman literally fall into each other's arms and fall in love. We find out that that's courtesy of a nearby Cupid who has been spotted by Lucifer. Lucifer steals the grace of the Cupid, who is now human, and then punches through the Cupid's chest, killing him. Castiel is at the Batcave in Lebanon and brings up the Winchesters up to speed with what's happening, including the whole, meeting with Lucifer thing that he did that Sam and Dean didn't know about, and being captured by Asmodeus, and Castiel telling the Winchesters Mary is still alive in the apocalypse world. Lucifer, who's walking down the street in Missouri, is feeling, he did get some more, he got a little grace from the Cupid he killed, but he's feeling what humans feel. He's feeling hunger, he's feeling cold, and he's feeling people staring at him. And it seems like it's almost for the first time that he's feeling these things. Asmodeus, needless to say, is pissed off about Lucifer escaping. I don't know if he's really pissed off Cass escaped or not. And he's not really happy with Arthur Ketch, who is now working for Asmodeus, and he orders Ketch to kill Lucifer while Lucifer's still weak. Lucifer, as it turns out, is very bad at panhandling, something that he does not pick up a skill at from the young man who's sharing a bench panhandling, a young man that walks on crutches. This other young man, though, he's a good person, very kind person, and takes Lucifer dumpster diving for some food. He tells Lucifer that the money that he's saving from panhandling, he doesn't want to use it for food. He wants to use it to get Faith healed by a healer named Sister Joe. Lucifer scoffs and tells him that all faith healers are, con artists. But he insists, the young man insists, that Sister Joe is the real deal, that she touches people and she heals them. So maybe she is the real deal. Or, as I'm thinking, maybe she's an angel. Could be. Back at the Batcave, Dean and Cass talk for a minute, and Dean apologizes to Castiel that they didn't know that they were being fooled by Asmodeus, who was calling them, pretending to be Cass and using Cass's voice. Castiel accepts the apology and says that, Asmodeus is a shapeshifter, so you really had no way to know. And Cass is also determined to get Jack and Mary back from the apocalypse world. Sam comes into the Batcave at that point with a guest, Donatello Redfield, the most recent prophet, who also no longer has a soul, thanks to Amara, but seems like he's a pretty nice guy. It's weird, because he actually seems nicer without a soul, so that's just weird. As it turns out, what the plan that they have is that it involves the idea of, they want to, the plan is, open a portal, get Lucifer while he's still weak, make him open the portal, get Jack and Mary back, and shut the portal before Michael gets through. That's the plan. But the problem is they don't know the spells involved in doing that, and they don't have an angel tablet to get them there, but they do have a demon tablet, and that's where Donatello comes in, because they want him to read it. Donatello's response to that is that he's going to need a lot of chicken wings, because apparently chicken wings are brain food. I always thought fish was brain food, but whatever. You be you. Castiel's hands fly up to his head in pain because Angel Radio's going crazy about the death of a Cupid and how its vessel was mutilated. We cut to Elgin Hall in Missouri, where miracles are being performed for a fee of $300 minimum by Sister Joe, and it turns out that she is the real deal. She touches a lady who's using a walker, and all of a sudden the lady straightens up and tosses the walker away. She's completely healed. She accepts payment from a young man who looks like he has some kind of terrible burn on the side of his face. She touches his face, there's a glow, and he's instantly healed. And while all this is going on behind the long line of people that are waiting to be cured, there sits Lucifer with a smile on his face. We see the Winchesters and Castiel checking out the crime scene where the body of the Cupid was found, and them talking about the fact that if Lucifer gets his powers back, they are well and truly screwed. Later that evening, Sister Joe was closing up for the evening, and it turns out she has someone there that says that she needs to help him heal. Someone is Lucifer. Who knows who Sister Joe really is? That Sister Joe is an angel named Anael, who is not the least bit startled to be seeing Lucifer in the flesh. Anael is a very pragmatic businesswoman like Angel. She's figured out that if you're on Earth, you need money to survive. And that she got picky when it came to choosing a vessel after the fall of the angels, when Metatron shut the gates of heaven and expelled all the angels. She was picky about who she took as her vessel. There was a woman praying for her husband who was ill to be healed, and Anael made a bargain with her. She took over the woman's body and cured the man's illnesses. And Anael doesn't seem to be very afraid of Lucifer, of the idea that Lucifer can kill her and drain her of her grace and then kill her, because she offers basically to be a grace bank for Lucifer. Like the whole idea is that some vampires have a blood bank. They have a victim that they keep alive and they feed from every once in a while, not enough to kill them, but enough to satiate their appetite. Anael is basically offering to be Lucifer's grace bank. He can feed on her for a little while, then she'll recover and regain her grace, and then if he needs to, he can feed on her again. And Lucifer actually thinks this is a good idea. Sam questions the homeless guy, who tells him that he did see Lucifer, because Sam shows him a picture, and also tells Sam about Sister Joe. Lucifer winds up taking a little of Anael's grace, which really did look like the way a vampire would feed, taking it from the neck and kind of mouth on the neck, sucking kind of thing. They discuss what happened with the murdered Cupid, and Anael asks Lucifer if he told anyone where he was going. I hope that doesn't mean something bad's going to happen to the nice homeless guy, because he was nice. We see Sam and Dean pull up to Elgin Hall at night alongside Castiel. He's in the car with them. They go inside, they hear a noise, open a door, and they find Arthur Ketch, who looks about as happy to see them as they are to see him. Sam asks who Ketch is working for, and Ketch avoids the question and offers that they should team up. Castiel's response to that is to do the whole 2-finger to the forehead, hello floor, and knocks Ketch out. And Ketch is put in the trunk of the Impala, while Sam finds a video of Sister Joe doing her whole healing thing, and Castiel recognizes her as the angel Anael. We see Lucifer feeding on Anael's grace in a hotel room, and this really should not look as erotic as it does, because it does. I mean, I'm not getting turned on by it, but it's definitely filmed in a very erotic sort of way. After it's done, Anael and Lucifer lay on the bed and talk. And Anael tells Lucifer that when her grace is depleted, if she's healing, if she heals someone and has to expend a lot of her grace, where to the point where it's almost gone, that's when she starts to feel human. Lucifer tells her that he felt hunger and cold and loneliness, which I was like, huh. Anael, as it turns out, was an angel in heaven that basically did a menial job. She pushed a button. That was her job. Herding souls from place to place. When the angels fell from heaven, she viewed it as a way to be free, not as a terrible thing like all the other angels did. Lucifer tells her that he's going to be a father to Jack, the father that his father should have been. Asmodeus is told by one of his demons that the prophet has been found. We see Donatello leaving a chicken place with a bucket of wings, and there's Castiel, who talks with him, and while they're talking, Donatello's talking about Asmodeus and the whole demon tablet thing, and the fact that Jack and Mary are trapped in the other Earth and all of that other stuff. And it turns out this isn't Castiel, which I think the audience knew already. It's Asmodeus, who now knows a bunch of information he didn't know before. He freezes Donatello in place and casts a spell on him that whatever information he finds out from the demon tablet, he's supposed to relay back to Asmodeus as well. Asmodeus wipes the memory of them meeting and sends Donatello on his way. Asmodeus takes a piece of chicken out of Donatello's hand as he's walking by, sniffs it, and lets it drop to the ground. So the guy dresses like evil Colonel Sanders and doesn't like chicken. That's funny. I'm sorry, that's funny right there. We see the Winchesters and Cass drive up to the motel, where Sam's tracked Sister Joe's credit card, because Sam is awesome like that. He manages to call their room and plays like he's the desk clerk, and there's a problem with her credit card, and she needs to come and talk with them. So she leaves the room, and she winds up being found by Castiel and the Winchesters, and instantly goes into this whole, oh, I'm a hostage kind of thing, and because they have no reason not to know that, they believe her. When she knocks on the door, she kind of tries to slip Lucifer a hint that something's not right when she calls him Lord Lucifer. He seems to think it's just because she's acknowledging that he's so powerful. As it turns out, he winds up being trapped between the Winchesters on one end of the room and Castiel teleporting in on the other. When Dean goes to put the cuffs on Carved with angel sigils to take Lucifer back to the Batcave, Lucifer, who's more powered up than they thought, attacks, and so does Anael. And before they disappear, Lucifer tortures Sam and Dean and Cass for a minute with his new power, his restored power. Whatever he's doing, it seems to be like crushing their organs or something, because they're in a lot of pain. They wind up being rescued by Arthur Ketch, who throws a demon bomb into the room, but Lucifer and Anael manage to disappear. Ketch again offers the idea of a team-up and actually tells them he's working for Asmodeus. Finally telling them at the end of his, again, offer for a team-up, I'm the less of, well, at least 3 evils. Maybe, but you brought Lady Tori into Sam's life. Fuck you, I hate you forever. Hugs and kisses. I would like to also stress that is directed at the character of Arthur Ketch, not at the actor, David Hayden Jones, who I'm sure is a lovely guy. Just saying. CYA, boys and girls. Lucifer and Anael have teleported away, it looks like they're in the woods someplace, and Lucifer's complaining that power-wise he's not doing so well. But they have some place that they need to go. As it turns out, where they're going is the entryway that goes from Earth to Heaven, the playground. And Lucifer is there meeting with a bunch of the angels guarding it. And Lucifer says that he knows that the angel army is running low, which is something that the Cupid mentioned. And he offers the angels that he knows the way to make more angels. He says that he saw God do it, and he knows how to do it. The only thing they have to do is let him rule heaven and acknowledge him as the leader of heaven. And to sweeten the pot, he also tells them that he can get their wings back. We see Donatello working on translating the demon tablet back at the Batcave. It's not going terribly well, as the Winchesters and Castiel discuss what to do about Ketch. Dean's attitude is basically work with him when we can, and when it's done, shoot him. Burn his bones and, be done with him. And I'm really not inclined to disagree. We see Lucifer in heaven, sitting in a white office on a high up chair. The other angels are on their knees in front of him, and Anael is standing at his side, looking very smug, as Lucifer says, "Hail to the king, baby," and his eyes go red. We cut back to Asmodeus's lair as he shows where he had to go on this important mission that wound up, having just lower level demons guarding Castiel and Lucifer. The mission Asmodeus was on was to find a weapon of immense power, the Archangel Blade. The Archangel Blade is the only weapon in the universe that can kill an archangel. Ketch makes a note of the fact that he thought that the only thing about that's a great weapon that Asmodeus has, but the only way that power can come through is if the weapon is wielded by another archangel. As it turns out, Asmodeus has that covered as well when he takes Ketch to a prison cell and shows him the prisoner inside, who he introduces a man sitting in tattered robes with his head bowed as the Archangel Gabriel. The man raises his head and we see it's Gabriel, and his lips have been sewn shut. And the episode ends. Okay. Devil's Bargain gets 5 bouquets out of 5 from me. Holy sugar-covered crickets on a moped. This episode was amazing. It was so awesome to see Richard Speight Jr. back as Gabriel. I'm sorry, was it wrong that my first thing when I saw him, I was like, Dad? On my Twitter, I say, I'm pretty sure my dad was a trickster. I don't know if he was the trickster, but I'm pretty sure my dad was a trickster god. So whenever I see Gabriel, I'm like, Dad? But, oh my gosh, this episode was awesome. Danielle Ackles was absolutely amazing as Sister Joe and Anael. I thought she's wonderful anyway, but to see her play such a complex character, it's just fantastic. I loved this episode. It was absolutely fucking amazing. Supernatural is going to be on for the next couple of weeks, but it will be in repeats. This week coming up is they're running the episode breakdown again, and then the following week they're running another repeat. Supernatural will be back on March 1st with the episode Only the Best Intentions. And we all know where the road where the road to is paved with the best intentions, don't we, boys and girls? Woo! That was a lot to take in. I hope that everybody enjoyed the show this week, and if you like my show, please like, share, and subscribe, and tell other people about it if you would. I hope you'll also tune into the other shows that I am involved with and that are part of our happy little internet family. There's Subject Cinema with me and TC, which is now going to be on Saturdays, our movie podcast. There's TC's solo show, Catastrophe Vortex, which is a great show. He also has 2 mini shows, Tuesday Digidex and 3-Day Weekend, where he's looking at the various releases that come out that week to theaters and to DVD and cable. There's also our Count Up show, our list show, Front Row 5 and 10, and that's a lot of fun. You can check us out you can check out the other parts of our family, including Cavebabble at cavebabble.com and Comic Grotto with Aunt B and Pee-wee. If you haven't checked out Manhattan Hammerdown, it's a amateur production that we did. I think it sounds perfectly professional, you want my opinion. Celebrating the 10-year anniversary of the release of Cloverfield. We did a lot of work on this, and I hope you guys will check it out at Manhattan Hammerdown. And if you'd like to check me out online at the other places I frequent, you can check me out on fanfiction.net. And you can also check me out on Twitter. My handle is Platinum Rose Lady. If you have any messages or queries or comments or complaints or money or chocolate or Jared Padalecki's phone number, no, don't send me that. But anything else you want to send me, send it to platinumroselle@yahoo.com and put PRG in the header, and I will definitely read it on the air. And now that I have talked myself into near exhaustion, I'm going to bed. This is Platinum Rose Lady signing off for another week, and reminding you guys to love yourselves, love everybody else, and take some time to stop and smell the roses. I'll see you around. Bye.
Podcasting's choice. From coast to coast, continent to continent, right here 24/7.